Hi guys, it's me Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome to part 9 of the Baby Educational Ball tutorial series. This is a pattern by Patricia Heller, and thank you Patricia for allowing me to make a tutorial on your design. Okay, so this is actually part 8 or the 8th panel of the ball, the Baby Educational Ball. Okay, so today we're going to do the panel with the strawberry on it. So you're going to need one of your finished panels and then some red and just a little bit of green and just a very small amount of white. Okay, you're also going to need a stitch marker, a yarn needle to weave in your ends, a pair of scissors, and you're going to need the crochet hook that you've been using throughout your project. I've been using a 3.0 millimeter crochet hook because the yarn that I'm using is a number 3 weight, sport weight or baby weight yarn. Okay, so you just want to continue using the same weight of yarn throughout your whole entire project and the same crochet hook. Okay, and I think that's it, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so taking your red yarn, we're going to do the berry first. Make sure I get the right end here, not this one. Okay, this one. And I'm going to start with a magic circle. You can also put a slip knot on your hook and then chain 2 and then work in the second chain from the hook, but I'm going to do a magic circle or magic ring. Okay, and into the magic circle or magic ring or the stitch that you're working into, you want to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then you're going to pull on your beginning tail to cinch up your circle if you're doing a magic circle or magic ring. Okay, and that is the end of round 1. You should have 6 stitches all the way around. Okay, now we're working in spirals. We're not going to join our rounds, so working right into the first stitch of round 1, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Okay, so 1 and 2 single crochets in that first stitch. I'm going to take my marker, I'm going to put it into the first stitch of those 2 that we just made. That will mark the beginning of my round. Okay, and going on, we're going to now do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that sequence around. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, both in the same stitch. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And now we're finished with round 2, and at the end of round 2 you should have 8 stitches all the way around your circle. Okay, so I'm going to take out my marker, and going on to round 3, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Okay, so in the very next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets into that stitch, 1 and 2. We're going to put our marker into the first stitch of those 2 that we just made. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 1 each in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. And that gets us to the end of round 3. And at the end of round 3 we should have 10 stitches all the way around our circle. Okay, removing our marker, going on to round 4. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, so 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, and then we're going to put our marker in the first stitch of those 2 that we just made. Okay, and now we're going to do 1 stitch in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to repeat that sequence. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so I got back to the marker. That was the end of round 4, and at the end of round 4 you should have 12 stitches all the way around your circle. Okay, going on to round 5, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then we're going to put our marker in the first stitch of those 2 that we just made, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that again. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and I'm going to do that, and then I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, I'm back to the marker, and that was the end of round 5. And at the end of round 5 you should now have 14 stitches all the way around your circle. Removing our marker, going on to round 6. Round 6, we're going to have 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, put our marker into the first stitch of those 2 that we just made, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and we're going to repeat that again. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, I'm back to the marker. That is the end of round 6, and at the end of round 6 you should have 16 stitches around. Okay, going on to round 7, I'm going to take my marker out, and then it says to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2. Put my marker into the first of those 2 stitches that I just made, and now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to repeat that around, and I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 7 stitches, and I will meet you when I get to the marker. Okay, I'm back to the marker, and at the end of round 7 you should have 18 stitches all the way around your circle. And now for round 8, I'm just going to do 1 stitch in each 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so I will still have 18 stitches in around my circle. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 stitch in the next 1 single crochet in the next stitch, replace my marker so I'll know which one was the first one, and then I'm just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so I'm back at the marker again, and so at the end of round 8 we still have 18 stitches all the way around our circle. Taking out our marker and going on to round 9, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet decrease, okay? So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and we'll put our marker there to mark it. Okay. Okay, so in the next stitch we're going to do an invisible decrease. I'm going to put my hook underneath the front loop only of the next stitch, and then twist my hook around and go on the under the front loop only of the next stitch also. Draw up a loop through both of those loops, and then draw up a loop and finish the single crochet like regular, okay? And now we're going to repeat that all the way around. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, just a regular single crochet, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches, okay? So that's going to turn those 2 stitches into 1. Just like that, okay? And now repeat that sequence all the way around until we get back to the marker, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I'm back at the marker again, and now at the end of round 9, you should now have only 12 stitches around your circle, okay? So taking out my marker, going on to round 10, I'm going to do just an invisible decrease, and I'm going to do that all the way around, so that'll take my stitch count from 12 down to 6, okay? So going right into the next stitch, I'm going to go under the front loops only, okay, and then twist my hook around and go under the front loops only of the next stitch as well, okay, and then draw up a loop under those those 2 stitches, and then I'm going to finish off the single crochet like regular, okay? So that was my first stitch. So I'm going to put my marker back in there to mark my first stitch, and then I'm going to do that 5 more times, okay? Same thing. So we're not doing any regular single crochets, we're just doing an invisible decrease, and we're going to do that 5 more times all the way around the circle, okay, until we get back to the marker again, and I will meet you when I get there. Okay, so I'm back to the marker again. I now only have 6 stitches all the way around my circle there, and so I'm going to take off my marker. Okay, we're not going to stuff the strawberry, we're just going to push it flat, okay? And now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to fasten off because I'm finished with the berry part. So I'm just going to insert my hook into the very next stitch and do a slip stitch to fasten off. Okay, and now I do want to leave a tail for sewing this berry onto our panel. So make sure you leave a tail long enough for sewing, okay? And then now I'm just going to draw my, since I did a slip stitch, I'm going to just draw my, pull the yarn all the way through, in other words. Okay, so there's our berry. Okay, it's going to go right there in the middle of our panel, like that, okay? But before we do that, I'm going to put some greenery up at the top of the berry. So I'm going to get the green yarn, attach it onto my hook with a slip stitch. Okay. Then I'm going to take my strawberry, and then I'm just going to insert it into the top of my berry. And since we do still have an opening at the top, I didn't stitch it closed, so we can do that here at the same time that we put our little leaves at the top, okay? So I'm going to insert my hook from the back to the front just at the top of the berry, and I'm going to be working through both, the front and the back, both thicknesses, because this will sew the top together. Okay, so I'm going to just join this with slip stitch. Okay, and I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and now I'm going to slip stitch back down my chain, and it says to go back with 3 slip stitches. So I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd stitch from the hook, looks like, and I'm going to just slip stitch into it, okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch back down that chain in each chain going down to back to the base of the strawberry. Just like that, okay? And now I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch through the front and its mate at the back through the top of the strawberry and do a slip stitch. See, this is closing up the top of our berry also, okay? And now it says, for this next one, it says to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the previous leaf. I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook and work my way down that chain. Okay, this one I should have 4 of them to do. So there's 1, 2, 1 in each chain all the way down, 3, and 4. Okay, and now I'm going to go into the next stitch on the strawberry through the front, and then its mate, its matching stitch at the back of it, still sealing up that top of the strawberry, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to do some more leaves. I believe she has you do 3 more leaves, and each one of them is just going to be the chain 5, and then work down the chain doing slip stitches the same way that we've been doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then in the 3rd chain from the hook do a slip stitch. It's kind of tricky doing slip stitches into this small work. I think I split my yarn, so I'm going to try that again. Okay, so slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook. Okay, that was better. Okay, and then slip stitch down to into the next chain. Okay, and then slip stitch into the bottom chain. Okay, and then slip stitch into the strawberry again from the front to the back with a slip stitch. Okay, and then now do 2 more of those leaves, and I will meet you when I'm finished with that. Okay, so I'm finishing up my 5th little leaf here. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch down into the strawberry to fasten off. Okay, and now I'm going to cut my yarn. I just want enough to be able, not very much, you just want to be able to have enough to hide your ends inside the strawberry. Okay, so I'll take my yarn needle and I will yarn up my needle with the green, and I'm just going to go into the strawberry. You're not going to be able to see the back of the strawberry because you're going to be stitching it onto the panel, so if you want to come out the back, that's fine. Just make sure that you do not come through the front. Okay, and now I'm going to do my beginning tail as well. Go into that strawberry and come out close to where I came out on the other one, like that. Okay, and make sure you did not stitch in the front. And then I'm just going to tie these ends together in a knot and cut them short. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready to put our little spots on our strawberry to make it look more like a strawberry. So I cut a piece of just scrap of white yarn, and I'm going to yarn up my needle, and then just wherever you want to do it, and however many that you want to make it looks like a strawberry, just go from the back up to the front, and then just put some little white stitches, leave a tail at the back there, and then just put some tiny little white stitches on your strawberry, and that's for the seeds on the seeds of the strawberry. Okay, like that, and you just want to put them all over, just in different spots. My tail's getting tangled in the back there. Okay. Just like that. Okay, and so just put them all, you know, in different places. And you can put as many or as few as you want, however you like it. You know, as long as you like the way it's looking, just go ahead and do what you want on it. I'm going to put some more spots on my strawberry, some more seeds, and then I will meet you back when I get finished, okay? Okay, so I finished putting my seeds on my strawberry. My strawberry has quite a few seeds. And the only thing I did back at the back when I got finished, I cut my yarn and then I tied the beginning white strand to the end of the white strand, those two ends, I tied them together in a knot and then trimmed it short, okay? Now I'm going to take my panel and we're going to sew our strawberry onto the panel, okay? And just get it centered in the center of our strawberry, okay? Take our yarn needle and yarn up our needle with the red yarn, the tail from our strawberry. Okay, and then I'm going to just start sewing it around, sewing it down to the center of my panel, okay, and just sew it all the way around, and I will meet you when I get my strawberry sewed onto my panel, okay? Okay, so I'm just about finished with sewing on my strawberry. I've got up to the top where the leaves are, and so what I'm going to do is just go across. My stitch is going to go across, still being in the red part of the strawberry, and just sewing that through, but that way my leaves will stay free and not be tight, stitched down to the panel, okay? So I'm just about done. I'm just going to put a couple of stitches in here going across this top part of the strawberry, okay? And now I'm going to turn my piece over and I'm going to secure it. I still had the tail from my beginning tail of my panel, so I'm just going to tie those two tails together in a knot. Okay, and then trim them short. Okay, so there's our strawberry square. So this one went pretty quick, not a square, actually it's a panel. But anyway, this one went pretty quick. So I guess that's it for today's tutorial. And stay tuned, and in a few days I'll have part 10 up, next one in the series. And let's see, for the next one we will be doing a flower. Like a daisy. Okay, so thanks guys for watching, and we will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.